So how long have you suffered with OCD for?
Well, I'd say since I was, year 6, so what's that, like 9, 10, something like that. So about that age, I'd say it started to kind of pick up then. I was having these kind of, I think, obsessive thoughts, I guess they were. I kind of find it a bit hard to remember being that young, but Mum and Dad will probably remember if I spoke to them and got them to pass on.
Can you remember when it started to occur, or like, was there anything specific?
Certain things that happened that I think did bring it up. Like you said, probably started, but I think that happened a bit before. And I'm kind of trying to think of times and all, but it happened a bit before that. But that probably started it. Started to think about that, and then this just triggered something else, and then it kind of then flew like snowballing. Okay. I guess then
Are there certain times that it's worse than others?
Well, I'd say when I was in the Marines, it kind of started to pick up quite badly then. I think that was probably to do with everything. I was away from my family. I was away from my own comfort, like home comfort type stuff, and a lot more people to kind of deal with their cleanliness, their hygiene. So I'm kind of thinking about, instead of just my family and I always knew they were clean, to go into somewhere completely alien.
Do your friends know about it, or anyone in your family?
In the Marines, no one. I mean, one of my friends might know now, but that's because since I've come out, I've told him about it. But when I was in the Marines, I think people picked up on it a little bit, but probably wouldn't have known exactly what it was. But I never told anyone that specifically I wanted to, apart from when I was trying to come out of the Marines, was when I had to tell people because I needed to kind of pick that up. But no one knew from there, so it wasn't. And it's something I didn't really want to tell them because I didn't feel that, I guess, they'd understand too much.
Does anyone else in your family have it?
Nothing in particular. I mean, my mum and dad, and specifically, I guess, my mum, is very clean, but I would say it's quite a normal, maybe more obsessive than people might see it, but I think, everything's spotless and that sort of thing, and everything needs to be clean. And same with my dad likes cleanliness as well, and I think that's where my traits have come from, and that's why genetics come together and then make me. So I mean, that's definitely how I see it. That's come together, but they're not to the extent I am. Like they've got rational thinking, whereas mine's definitely very irrational. And when I try and speak to them about it, they'd be like, yeah, you need to maybe wash your hands or whatever, but you don't need to do it to that extent, or do these other things to that extent. So yeah, kind of, I guess, but not specifically OCD. I think everyone in my family, I feel, has got that kind of in them, something there, like cleanliness. Yeah, definitely. And everyone's quite clean in my family, apart from maybe my brother, he's just hopeless. But I mean, that's a different thing. So, but yeah, definitely.
Do you feel that you're at a disadvantage for having it?
Well, maybe rolling around on the floor sounds like a stupid one, but even people go down the beach and just lie on the floor, go down the grass, go on the park and just lie on the floor, whereas I'll specifically make sure that I don't stand or don't lie where anyone else has been standing. I'll kind of walk around and stand and then fall back where I haven't walked, if you see what I mean.
Sure. I understand that.
So I'm kind of avoiding every foot kind of area, because I know my shoes, they're really dirty, but I could have worn them, like I said, in toilets or something, so I'm avoiding that. Even that might have been long gone in my head. It's still there, the contact, floor, and that's done it. That's contaminated it, unless I maybe chucked them in the washing machine. That would probably work.
Have you ever tried to ignore it, or have you ever been able to ignore it?
To be honest, I think it was when it first started to get bad. Well, it was always bad, but I've only just flagged out with my parents or something in the Marines, and I just come home from camp, and I'll have a shower straight away before, like I said, sit down like here or something like that. But when I did that at home, and I was just thinking, I was like, well, maybe I'll just do it. Like, what if I just wash like normal, and I'll just maybe feel alright after I'll wash, and it might be okay. And I did do it, and I went in the shower, and I'd probably got the quickest shower I've had in ages of that period, but it didn't stop it for long. It was that, and then and I think I would probably say to my mum, I was like, well, is it, if I just go and wash really quickly, that's alright, is it? Does that make sense, or is that how I can do it? And she'd be like, yeah, of course.
Thank you for
cheers, man.
Yeah, thank you for talking to me, and I'm sure we'll talk about it further.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
Excellent.